Ink ribbon.
So in between videos, I like to do little community posts. Sometimes I'll just ask random Resident Evil questions, or I'll post pictures of me and my cat, whatever. But this time, I don't know if I struck a nerve with people or if this is something the community wanted to talk about. Normally I get just a couple hundred comments or whatever. This particular post got over 24,000 votes and almost 400 comments, so I was like, okay, let's look into this a little bit because you guys seemed very passionate about it. I just asked a simple question: which Resident Evil character should have their own game? And among the choices, I was kind of thinking like secondary characters. So I was like, Ada, obviously, and then there's Sherry, Kevin from Outbreak, and Hunk. I threw Kevin in there because like I've seen a lot of people comment that he's like worthy of being a main character or whatever. I don't know. I voted for Sherry personally, and she was blown out of the water, and so was Kevin. So it really came down to Ada and Hunk. Hunk definitely taking the lead at 47%. That's almost 10% more votes than Ada. And I just thought that I would kind of go over some of the comments that you guys left. Black Ghost 773, a Kevin story retelling the mod of During the Storm would be a home run. I completely agree with this. It is my very my Resident Evil hill to die on is that destroying Raccoon City was a mistake. I still think we could make Resident Evil games that take place in Raccoon City, and the During the Storm mod was a perfect example of that. Getting to see before the outbreak, leading into it, there's so much story and lore that could be uncovered and talked about. That's kind of part of the reason I put Kevin in there, because I knew if it was Kevin, it would have to take place in Raccoon City. Albert Trotter 1262, Sherry in my opinion is the best choice, especially considering who her parents are and what they've done. It would make sense lore-wise for her having her own game. I agree. And also, a lot of people forget about this, but because of Sherry's G-Virus thing, she doesn't age. So she's going to be young and beautiful seemingly forever. Not to mention, think of the game mechanics. If she's got a healing ability, it would actually make sense for her to like heal over time. Like, there's so much you could do there. And also it's a great opportunity to reunite Leon and Claire and Sherry, maybe even Ada. Oh my god, what if how Metal Gear Solid 4 went back to Shadow Moses? What if they go to the labs again for something, and it's after the labs were blown up, it's the wreckage of going in there, kind of like going back to the Titanic or something. There's so much that could be done. Oh man, us Resident Evil nerds. So Salazar 556 sums it up really well, because this is kind of where I was. This is why I was surprised at how many of you guys got so into this. Realistically, I think Sherry would be what Capcom chooses. I'd love to see Ada, but they prefer to keep her a mystery. They seem to only like having Hunk as DLC, and with Kevin, they'd fear that he'd be too much like Leon.
Are you a Resident Evil fan who's in the market for getting a new PC? How about one of the custom Resident Evil PCs
from AVA Direct that I helped design? The Outbreak build captures the aftermath of what happened in the laboratory, while also providing a perfect entry-level gaming experience. Or maybe the Green Herb build is more your style. Now you can combine a PC gaming powerhouse with the healing properties of a green herb. And we can't forget the T-Virus. This PC will keep the virus safely contained and even display all the necessary information on this built-in LCD panel, so no need to worry about it getting out. All these PCs are custom made, and they've got a whole bunch of other custom PCs to fit your aesthetic. To see this collection, visit avadirect.com/inkribbon
and be sure to use code INKRIBBON for 10% off your order. Links are in the description.
And the mysterious aspect is something that both Ada and Hunk share that you guys were very, very passionate about. And with that, I want to say something about Ada, because in storytelling, there are different tropes of character, archetypes. So there's the hero, and then there's the, oh god, I forgot what the other ones are called. So they go by a bunch of different names, like this one: hero, mentor, ally, herald. The herald might also be the sage, whatever, but you get the idea. Now, What Ada is what's referred to in some circles as the jokester character, and that's my favorite type of character in storytelling, because what a jokester character is you don't know what their motives are. You don't know if they're good, you don't know if they're evil. They kind of operate in between, and Ada's always been that character. However, in Resident Evil 4 Remake, for the first time, they kind of peeled back the curtain to show what Ada was thinking for the first time. When in the ending, when Wesker is saying like billions of people will die or whatever, and Ada's like, no, I'm not gonna do that, sorry, and she, hijacks the helicopter and GTFO. That's the first time that we got to see, okay, Ada does have a conscience, she's not completely evil, like she's not willing to do that for any price, and that was like, and even that I would say took away a little bit of the mystery of Ada, but that's why I feel like if she had her own game, it kind of just wouldn't be the same, like, because when you're playing as her, you see too much of her, you kind of become entwined with her motives, and it's almost unavoidable to reveal whether she's good or evil, and that's what makes Ada so interesting as a character, is, she kind of does whatever she wants, and it depends on whether she agrees or disagrees with the motives behind it. So I don't know if Ada having her own game would work, honestly. And a lot of you were commenting pretty much the same thing about Hunk. Let me see if I can find one. Here we go. MQFII8992. The appeal of Hunk is precisely because he's a minor character with minimal appearances and a lot of mystery surrounding him. Making him a protagonist of a long campaign may ruin some of his mystique. A lot of you guys were saying that in the comments, and I can understand that. I still don't fully understand the appeal of Hunk personally, but I know that there's people out there who really feel a connection to hiding behind a mask. Speaking of that, I want to tell you guys something. I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent, but it's relevant to Hunk. So back in 2012, when I lived in Japan, I noticed that people would wear masks. This was way before COVID. Maybe it was because of the H1N1 or whatever was going on at the time, but I noticed people would wear masks, like a lot, like enough people wore them in public that I was like, because in America masks were just not a thing. Like I had never even seen someone wearing one before, and I noticed just people wearing them. Like I remember I was at the immigration office and a woman took it off because they were taking her picture, and they're like, "Can you please remove your mask?" And I was just like, what is going on with these masks? So I finally asked my coworker, who was Japanese, like, why do people wear masks? And she explained the main reason, the real reason, is because when you're sick, you wear one as a courtesy to like not get other people sick. But a lot of people ended up adopting them as just like something to wear on their face because it brought them comfort, a sense of security, and it was kind of for like people who were really shy, they could hide behind them. It kind of obscures your face. And I was like, that's really interesting. And she's like, yeah, some people just started wearing them and never stopped. So before COVID happened, obviously masks weren't a thing, but when people started wearing them, I told people who were close to me, I was like, you're gonna see people wearing them forever now in America. Some people are just going to wear them all the time, and there are people now that I see in public still wearing them. But the reason I bring that up is because I think that's part of the whole thing with Hunk, which wearing a mask like his during a zombie outbreak would be very, very beneficial. That's probably one of the reasons he's not dead. But I wonder how much crossover there is with people who like to hide their face, whether it's a mask or sunglasses or a hoodie, whatever. People who just want to be more anonymous or something. I try to put all these threads together to understand the appeal that you guys have for certain characters, because I like showing my face. I don't go to the gym and eat like healthy food just for fun, I want to like look good, but I know that's not the case for everybody, and some people really don't want to be looked at, so I don't know. But going back to the whole mystique thing, yeah, I agree with that. I don't think Hunk can really have his own game because his whole thing is being mysterious, and the less you know about him, the more mysterious he is. Which, by the way, there was that Capcom leak that happened, and Hunk was listed to have his own game. That has been canceled. So if you were holding out for that or waiting for it, sorry to tell you, Hunk is not getting his own game. That's the end of that. And with the comments, I also saw a lot of you listing people who weren't mentioned. Some people were saying Carlos, some people were saying Ashley, some people were saying Rebecca, and you guys were listing all sorts of characters that you think could or should come back. But I don't know. I still think there's so much potential. Even characters who are dead, we could do prequels again set in Raccoon City or near Raccoon City. There's so much to do. Oh my god. Dreams. I'm still wondering what is going to happen with Resident Evil from here on. But anyway, I just wanted to make this quick video because you guys were just really sounding off in the comments, and you seemed very interested in this, and I was interested because we're all Resident Evil nerds. So, yeah, in case you didn't know, I do post on the community tab regularly, just a bunch of, it's usually Resident Evil stuff. You guys voted for Scorpion to be the first Mortal Kombat character I do a facts video on, and that already happened. So, yeah, if you guys want to be a part of that, I don't know how YouTube works with community tab stuff. It's there sometimes. Even for me as a viewer, I'm just like, oh, cool. But if you ever see those, I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. And if there's a character that you think could have their own Resident Evil game, let me know, because I still think there's so many characters. I mean, we've got Piers, who's most likely probably dead, also Steve, but you've got like Billy, you've got Sheva, so many characters in the Resident Evil franchise that were like one-time characters that we'd love to see again. Sometimes I wonder if like we should just storm Capcom and take over the series, like fans should be running the Resident Evil franchise, you know, but I don't know. Anyway, I'd love to know your thoughts, and if there's any other characters, again, let me know in the comments, and I'm going to end this video here because I'm rambling. So, until next time, I'm Kai Morgan, and as always, thanks for watching Ink Ribbon. And a very special thank you to all of my Patreon supporters and YouTube members. Your extra support means the world to me and helps me keep making content for you guys.